What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of the Web Buzz Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Tiberio, joined by... You ready for this one this week, Roger?
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. I'm ready.
The guy we know, the ones you love, and the one that single-handedly can change algorithms if he chooses. Mr. Roger Valdez. What's up, dude?
All right, man. I was thinking of something else because of today's topic, but I thought we're going to get into wrestling a bunch of arms.
I was going to go down that road, and then I was like, no, let's just go simple and say, you know, and we love them. But I always have to throw something in there to kind of boost your ego, as you like to say.
Yeah, we're ready, man. No, feeling good, man. Feeling good. Obviously, every week we brainstorm all week, try to kind of think of good things that are coming out that are trending online, not only just trending online for marketing, but also with our clients, right? Real stuff that's actually happening. That's maybe set a roadblock for some people that we think we should kind of chime in and give some feedback and some advice on. But super excited for today's episode, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and that's today's episode's actually coming straight from our clients, straight from something that stirred up during our private client call on Monday night. And it made sense. We said, hey, let's dissect it a little bit more. Let's do it today on the Web Buzz Podcast. First off, I'm excited to finally be back in the home studio, right? Back where I'm normally at, back where I'm comfortable. Sorry for anybody that watched over the last couple of weeks and you saw my father's crazy action figure collection or my grandmother's computer room, because that's where I was last week. But back in the grind. It's been fun to kind of get back into the swing of things this week. It's been a challenge, not going to lie. Been a little bit of a challenge to kind of pick up with that same intensity and same energy that I had a couple weeks ago before having to step aside for a little bit. But excited to bring you guys some stuff today. And what the heck are we even going to talk about today?
Well, first of all, Shawn, I just want to say I'm glad to have you back as well, man. So welcome back. I know the team and everything. We always support each other like family right here within the TRC team, and we try to help each other out. We're doing that, but obviously our main man Shawn here, what was a couple days, actually like a week or two.
It was like 2 weeks.
We're happy to have you back, man. Absolutely, welcome back.
Is that why everybody's been so nice in the Discord chats? And until yesterday when I blew them all up and they were like, can he go away again for a couple days?
give him another couple days off. He probably needs to chill out.
It's I did appreciate the support, and I did appreciate the time to be able to, family deaths are never easy. They're never a fun time to begin with. But it was good to be able to step aside, kind of decompress, get all of this stuff off the mind, put a little bit of attention on the family, spend it there, and know that now I'm back and I can kind of get back in to the grind. It's what my grandfather would have wanted me to do. He wouldn't have wanted me to sit around and cry all the time about him. I could see it now. He'd be standing here yelling at me to, get my ass moving kind of thing. So time to get back. And that means we're bringing you guys another awesome topic this week. We've got a picture. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen here in a second, but we got a picture that pretty much sums up what we're talking about today. And that is, we're talking about an octopus, folks. And
all right, we're going down my alley, huh? We're going diving, or what are we doing here?
I actually just found this picture and I was like, kind of looks like a dive shot from Guam. Kind of that nice blue water that I keep watching your dang dive videos and getting jealous about. So everybody's sitting there right now going, what the heck are they they're going to talk about octopuses? Well, let's set the context before we get into the content. So why is Shawn and Roger, why here on the Web Buzz Podcast are we saying we're discussing an octopus? Well, to give you a quick backstory on it, I'll kick it over to Roger to get us rolling here. Monday night, we were on our call with our clients, and we were it was kind of an open forum. Every so often on our Monday night calls with our clients, we leave it open, let them just kind of pick our brains, ask whatever questions they have. question came out, and for some reason I just had this image of an octopus in my mind, like the world's largest octopus that lives really close to Roger in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, yet its tentacles are so long and so big that it could reach up out of the water in the Mediterranean and grab somebody off the shoreline of Italy and bring it underwater with it. And I had this image and I blurted out, your online presence, your marketing, right? Everything that you do in generating opportunities and leads for your business is like this ginormous sea creature that everybody's afraid of because there's no safe zone, right? And not that they're afraid of your business and afraid of your marketing, but if you are doing the right thing, they feel like you could be anywhere and reach out and touch them. We're in LA, Guam, Philippines, Mexico, right? Our team's all over the place. Texas, we got people all over the place for TRC. Our clients live all over the place. The people we market to live all over the place. Yet if we're doing our job right, it's like that giant sea creature. They suddenly see us when they're just cruising a Facebook post or their email inbox, or they're searching for something and boom, here comes our website. Or, let's say we start dabbling in some TV advertising. All of a sudden they're, seeing us on shows or something. That's why we want this ginormous. And that one isn't too big. But we're going to help you guys make yours much bigger. That's a pretty big one, though. I don't know. If I was diving like you, Raj, and I went under and I saw that would get my skin to crawl for a second if I swam up on that sucker.
Yes, especially if it's kind of swimming like it is right there. Usually you find them in the rocks. So that would be a pretty crazy, scary sight if you're out diving.
So why don't you go ahead and get us kick started here? Talk a little bit about, maybe we can even, and we've got another image that we can share. If you want me to pull it up, let me know. But just kick us off and get us started and kind of set a little bit more of this tone on why an octopus? Why are we thinking this direction right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So an octopus, and the reason we chose this, obviously this came about through one of our clients kind of bringing it up as we have a Monday call with our clients, right? So there's a lot of questions that come through there, and every week, just like we are here on the podcast, we're always dropping a lot of value, but there's layers and layers and layers of information that we provide to the point where it can be a little overwhelming for someone trying to follow along and build, right? So what ended up coming out of it is this particular client kind of described it like an octopus is like, finally, bam, right? Got a little bit of a light bulb. It's like, I get it. This every week you guys are sharing something, and it's almost like the website almost has a lot of tentacles, a lot of arms, right? And each arm is important, but it has its own importance, right? Each arm has a job, and it's not just one. A lot of times you get stuck on, I just need my website and that's it. When in reality, you need a lot of lead sources, a lot of marketing sources, right? Well, each one of those represents an arm. And this particular a client nailed it, right? She described it as an octopus. So that me and Shawn started rolling with that and looking stuff up, and we're like, wow, this is awesome. So what we're going to go ahead and share here, Shawn, let's go ahead and pop that image up. And I think it would be a good kind of segue into what exactly we're talking about with this particular image here and why the octopus. Keep in mind,
this one doesn't look this one does not look near as
friendly
as the other one. Friendly. But yeah, way too friendly. But it gets I guess it gets the message across.
Yeah, absolutely. So this can be used as anything. Sometimes you see these diagrams with like a circle and then a bunch of kind of like lines out or what it represents. This is a little more fun way to look at it, kind of like an analogy, right? A little example. So as you look at it and you really look at what's happening, you will notice that even our website, if you look at one of the arms there, it's actually one of the arms. It's not the actual center. So what we wanted to really dial in on today's call is one of the main things that most people want, most entrepreneurs, most businesses, right? They want new clients, leads, right? People coming in and doing business with them. So in reality, what we wanted to drive home is, what is that center? What does that center represent? And what are all these arms? How are these arms going to help, right? So what we want to really dive into here at the beginning is that center represents an offer. Okay. So with that, there's a lot of different ways that you can then come back and then feed that offer, right? So one arm, I'm going to go with the website here, kind of choose it. The website itself has a lot of pages on it that, I talk a lot about on SEO, how you're going to rank on Google so you can kind of drive traffic. Well, that traffic, what is it going to do? If you drive it back to the website and okay, that's fine and dandy, but what exactly is the main goal? Well, guess what? The center of the octopus is the offer. And that's what the website, the arm, is trying to grab that traffic so it can drive it back to the offer. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Shawn really quick. We want to dive into a couple of these different ones and then just get a little more detailed as we kind of go through this. But Shawn, go ahead and take it from here, just like on some of these other ones, how you see it, how we're driving all that stuff back to the center, right, of the octopus, which essentially is the offer.
Yeah, and I think to back up here for a second, this center right here, right? In this case, it's this fun little guy, cool eyes, nice little smile. He's kind of right there. The more clear your offer, and when we say offer, what we're talking about here is in marketing, especially on the digital side of things, your core business, what you do to either help or what it is that you provide, if you're more product based, the more clear you can be on that element. Take TRC, for example. 100% we're dialed in. We know we provide digital marketing solutions, inbound marketing strategies for our clients. And we've done past episodes where we talk about the avatar worksheet and who that actual ideal audience is, what do they look like, all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to go deep into that. You guys can go back and listen to the past episodes. If you're watching this later on a replay, we'll have those linked in there. But the more clear we are on what it is that we provide to that offer, essentially decides how big this octopus is. Not that you need to have a ton of services, a ton of products to make your octopus big. It's the more clear you are on it, the more you're going to attract into it because your now audience becomes very clear on how you help and you will find the right people. And it's like an octopus that just gets to eat all the day. Well, guess what? It's going to start to grow and it's going to become, kind of like that other picture, that pretty decent sized octopus that we saw there. So before we even kind of get down this track of these different arms and what are the different elements to the arms and how does all of this stuff work, ask yourself, am I even clear? Not on who, but what? What is my business's offer? What is the product that I sell? What is the service that I provide? What exactly, can I really describe it? And if you're answering no to that, that's where you need to start. That's where you got to get really clear on it so that you can kind of give birth to this new baby octopus and let it start to grow from there. After you're clear on that, now we can start to say, okay, what are the different arms? What are these different kind of branch out pieces? And obviously, it kind of goes without saying just from this diagram that you see here, but websites, social media, it could be print ads, it could be online ads, it could be radio ads, it could be park bench seats, it could be billboards, it could be door hangers, it could be signage that you stick in a yard. Bandit signs is very common for a couple different industries we work with. TV, a number of things. Super Bowl commercial is a tentacle of some very large corporations, pieces of it, right? Each of these come. Now, which ones do you need? That's where we start to go a little deeper here. But before we even get into that, anything you want to add a little bit more specific on that piece, Roger?
No, I think keeping it nice and simple, because we can go into a dark hole, right? Just a rabbit hole, just continue down this path. And that's what we're trying to not to do. We want to make sure we nail this concept at the top level, make sure that concept is good before we go super deep. Because as Shawn was kind of going through this, you can kind of see when, the one example that I showed with the website, just with the website itself can break out into its own tentacles, into a lot of different things. So we want to first nail down kind of the simple stuff. So we'll kind of keep rolling with this. And then, we'll chime in and start adding layers as we go here.
Absolutely. So why don't we let's go down that that path there. And we're going to use the website one to get started here. Talk a little bit first about how do we get the length, right? I think of an octopus, and obviously, they come in all shapes and sizes. Their arms are all different. I'm sitting here talking about your business should really be this super elaborate sea creature that can reach all the way around the globe. How does it get to that point? Right? How do we get the longer growth out of the arm on it when we're looking at something like our website? What do I mean by that?
Sure, absolutely. So to keep it simple, it comes back to content, right? So what I mean by that is basically when you look at a website, a lot of people think that just a homepage or a landing page is probably enough. In some cases, very seldom, but in some cases it might be enough. But in most cases, it's not, right? You're brand new. You need to kind of build that brand, and you need to build that awareness around your brand, and you need content. And how does that content come? It can come in the form of blogs that live on your website. It can come in forms of social media posts. But at the end of the day, when you start getting that content on there and you're providing value, right? Then you need to have some type of offer. And that's where kind of we come back to the center of this whole octopus, that you need to have that center nailed down. And before you even can do that, you got to take a step back before you build any of this stuff and really identify what your service is, what your product is, and see what you can add value to. Right. So, how we're actually going to build this and actually grow it, the easiest way you can do is just by adding value to the website itself through blogs. We push this a lot. Let's use a service. Say you're selling, I don't know, we're about to do a hiking trip here in a couple of weeks. So say you have a website, an e-commerce website, and you're selling hiking equipment, right? All this gear and everything. Well, you might have blogs, content on your website that are answering questions. Shawn and I were just talking about this trip just a little while ago. So he was giving me a lot of pointers, things that I should bring. Well, every pointer that he gave me could essentially represent a blog post on his website to build pretty much value and answer questions of someone like myself that's about to go on this trip. Not only that, those blogs are super valuable because that's going to essentially drive traffic or catch people's attention that are going to read it. You're going to answer that question, but then Shawn on that blog post can then add what's called a call to action at the bottom of that to then gear it towards the center of the octopus, which would be an offer, right? So say he has a pair of special shoes for hiking that I'm interested in. He gives me some options on his blog post, what he recommends. And at the bottom, he says, hey, if you're interested, we actually sell them here. Click right here to check out pricing or something like that, or get a coupon, right? Even better would be to get a coupon, some kind of discount. So I would click on that and it drive me to an offer, right? So the more you can add to that, the larger your octopus is going to grow, right? The larger it's going to get, the more powerful it's going to get because it's going to have more arms, more tentacles, more reach to bring more traffic back. So that's one of the things that's super important when you're actually adding content to the website. I see, I don't want to call it a mistake because it's a good starting point, but a lot of people start doing the right things, right? And adding content to the websites and it starts growing, but then there's no call to action. So you leave people hanging. And what ends up happening, and we talked about this a lot as well, is you just pretty much teed up your competition. You literally told your person, right? Your traffic that you work so hard to get to your website through these blogs, told them exactly what they need. So now they're going to go and do another Google search and find the product instead of buying it from you, right? So that's something to kind of look at. An easy way to grow your own octopus, your own branding, your own website is through content. But obviously, one of the big takeaways here, don't forget the call to action so you can bring it back to the offer.
So in a sense, what you're saying is I want to make this arm longer. The more I put on that website, more blogs I put, maybe more descriptive of services, maybe even individual service pages. Or I know something we're really big with our clients is things like our location pages, right? Very, very centric type information. We've talked about it on past episodes when we talked the silo piece of it. The more of that I get, the longer this gets. Because if we really think about it, the way an octopus grabs a hold of something and brings it in are these little suction cups, right? These little nubs. It's how it moves itself and how it climbs itself around the rocks. It's how it grabs onto something and pulls it in. And as you were saying that, that's what I was starting to think. It's like, well, that's a blog, that's a blog, that's a blog, that's a service page, that's this. And when you made that comment about you forgot to put a call to action, it's like, well, that blog, aka that suction cup, has no suction. You kind of left the suction part of the suction cup out of the way, in a sense. Or you kind of forgot to put the suction cup
Great
on.
way to put it. Yeah. Boop. It just kind of like disconnected.
Right.
Absolutely.
That poor octopus, he can't stay on the rocks because he has nothing to hold on to. In a sense, your website's got nothing to hold on to your audience, the member, the person that happens to be there. In your example, it was, I got you enticed about a pair of shoes, but I forgot to tell you where to go get them. Who told you where to go get them? And you ended up buying from my competition instead of buying from me. So
Exactly.
that makes sense. That's how we get some length on it. But I want an octopus with a lot of arms. I don't want the weird, and I should have found that photo. I don't want this weird octopus that's got like one arm coming off of it and it's trying to float itself around and trying to use just one tentacle, right, to do something. If you were diving and you saw that octopus underwater, you'd be like, wow, look at that freak show over there.
Oh yeah.
Right. Look at
That
that
just
odd.
does not make sense.
And
Yeah.
and I know we didn't want to say, it's a mistake that we see in there, but in essence, that some of the people that we've seen out there, some of the businesses that I know we've talked to, some of our own clients before they came to us, this was a pain that they were they were like that single arm octopus. The only way that they got attention coming into their business or to their core offer was one tentacle. Well, yeah, I put 10 signs in my friend's front yard, and that's the only form of marketing that I've done. That's like saying I've got that octopus with just one arm. So maybe elaborate a little bit on that. I want to make this octopus have a ton of tentacles, but I can't just slap them on everywhere. They got to make sense. And the arms of an octopus, they work in tandem, right? They work together on this. So talk a little bit about how does that translate now on this side digitally when things are working together?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to continue to drive you guys back to the offer. Because once you nail down the offer, then you can do what Shawn's talking about. It's like making sure you have a balanced octopus, right? With balanced arms. Now you have something to work off of and build off of. So let's just say your offer, we're gonna stick with the example of hiking shoes, right? You have an e-commerce website, you're selling pretty much camping equipment. And in this case, our offer is for a discount on hiking shoes, a very specific way type of hiking shoes. So let's start with the website. How would you drive attention to that discount offer for these particular types of hiking shoes? Number one, I'm going to give you some easy wins for blog post. Is basically you pretty much do a blog post, maybe the top 5 best hiking shoes. And in your list, you probably put number 1 is going to be the main offer, basically the shoe that you want to sell, right? So you make that the number 1 type of shoe that's on your list. And then you kind of name a couple of other ones that might also be on your shop. It's okay. But the one you have on sale, you'll probably name number 1 and you'll gear them back to the offer to get a coupon to get a discount on them. So that's kind of utilizing your website to start building. Obviously, you can do other blog posts talking about, the different types of shoes that are out there, different types of hiking and what you recommend, maybe a breakdown of the actual shoe itself, and then continue to drive them back to the actual offer. Now, let's talk about another arm. Now you're going to kind of balance. Now you got one, the octopus is kind of like one-sided, right? Because you got the website is growing, is doing great, and the arm continues to grow. But you're looking for, all right, well, I need to balance this thing out and get more attention, right? Get a stronger octopus. Well, now you're going to pick another arm. So in this case, I'm going to go and pick the next easy one that's out there for everybody can do. This is social media, right? So now what we're going to do, we have a long arm on our website. It's growing. We got that content going. It's really long, right? But our next one is social media. Once again, we're going to talk ideal situations that we see over and over, or not ideal situations, but common situations that we see over and over. When we say go to social media and build that arm, what they do is they go and build Facebook, maybe Twitter, maybe Instagram, and they set up the profiles, but they do nothing else. What happened is they popped out an arm, right? They popped out the arm, but it doesn't grow.
No suction.
Exactly. This arm continues to grow and continues kind of bringing. That's a lead source right there. Your website, right, continues to grow with your content, but this one, it's still unbalanced. So you need to start adding basically posts to your social media. That makes sense, right? So now if we have an offer, we have something to work off of. So now you can create posts that are not educating people about a certain shoe, about hiking, what you recommend, even create posts that redirect back to the website blog post talking about that shoe, right? So you can start building that out, and now you start strengthening and growing that arm for your social media. Now you got a little more balanced octopus. And then you might decide, all right, I want another arm, right? I want to kind of put another lead source, another arm to my octopus. Now you start doing something like, let's just something easy that kind of goes with this scenario here is paid ads, right? You might want to add that paid ad factor. So now, once again, you might set up your account. You might do it on your own. A lot of people out there like to do their own ads, and they're good at it. But let's just say you're a beginner. Let's just say you're a beginner, and you go out there and you kind of start. It's like, all right, this has to be easy, right? So I go and set up a Google Ads account, and I throw some money at it, but I have no idea what my strategy is, right? I just start kind of going off of a tutorial or whatnot, and I get no help. Once again, you have the arm that popped out, but it's super short. It does nothing, no value. So you have to really kind of nail down that offer and then do a little bit of research. And at that point, you might have to educate yourself a little more because you're starting to get into more advanced type of situations. So your arms, not only do they have kind of like how they're growing, but some of these arms start getting a little more advanced to grow. In this case, paid ads. So you got to make those decisions as a business owner. If you're going to go in that direction, keep in mind, you're going to drop in order to grow that arm. It takes money, right? It takes a spend. We call it an actual, not only a setup, but you got to spend some money to grow that arm. Now, I'm going to try to kind of nail this one, and you got to help me here, Shawn, but I'm going to try to nail this one on how that arm is going to grow. You got the website and social media, which essentially, if you're doing it manually, it's free. So these arms continue to grow and they don't shrink. They just continue to grow as you add content. The paid arm will grow as you add money. So the more money you add to that arm, the longer it grows. But as soon as you stop adding, boom, it goes back to short. I'm going to stop there because Shawn, this is probably an area that you love to talk about. But I didn't know how to use it. I just came up with that on the fly. But I'm trying to nail that example. It's like that paid ad section.
Yeah, I don't know. And hopefully there's no like marine biologists or marine specialists out there listening to us right now. I don't know what the octopus's enemy is, but when you said it grows with money and the second you stop it shrinks, my mind went to it just tried to wrap itself around a predator and there went its arm. Right now we're back to the lopsided piece of it, and that's probably an area that all jokes aside, we see a lot of, and we talk to a lot of businesses that they think that's the be all end all. Like, all right, I got a website, I got a little bit of social media, I got some of these other elements, right? I got a couple of different tentacles coming out on here. My octopus got a couple different arms. I just want to go all in on ads. And they think they just can throw a ton of money at it. But what happens is they never were clear at the very beginning. Therefore, all that money that's being spent, it's like an arm with no suction cups. They're not gaining anything out of it. And then they cut it off. They stop. And that, to your point, I love that analogy. Actually, it just shrunk itself right back in, and we've lost all that momentum on it. And we got a comment actually that came in from Marie, one of our clients. I put it up here on the screen. She's like, I can't wait to turn my lead magnets into 20 different blogs that all have the same call to action downloads to our free ebook, and which is eventually going to become a video series. We were talking to Marie and Liz on Monday night on our call, and I'm bringing this up because it's kind of backtracking here. You were making the comment about all the content, right? All these different blogs, and they needed to make sense, and they needed to kind of feed back and forth to each other. And one way that's very easy to grow that portion of your arm or add that much strength to those suction cups on that arm is taking something like a lead magnet that you have that's at the center. It's at the core of what you offer. It's a core piece. It's like I just brought, if I was going to put the lead magnet on the octopus, it's the lips of the mouth. Right? It's the part that's going to get a little taste and start to suck them in a little bit more. Well, how do I gain more arm length? How do I gain more suction power? Take that lead magnet and expand all over it, right? Expand out on elements that get the interest, gain some of that awareness, gain some engagement, and entice people to say, hey, I want a little bit. Your lead magnets has got the detail, right? It's got a little bit more of the how to element to it. Leverage that to create more of those blogs. And essentially what you're doing is throwing more suction cups against that arm. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, one thing also that I want to kind of drive home is when you're building these arms, right? We kind of nailed down the website is an arm. Social media can be an arm. And then in this case, we talked about paid ads, right? Paid ads, obviously. And we don't want to kind of like, I want to make sure that people, our listeners don't think we're kind of like bagging or doing saying bad things about paid ads, because it is a strong, right? It is a strong lead source, but you got to be aware of how to utilize it correctly, or else you're going to dump a bunch of money that's going to go away and not come back, right? So when you actually invest money in these other ones, like your website, your content, your SEO, that's long term. That's why we call it a long term kind of strategy, because it takes a while for it to gain momentum, but it sticks, right? With paid ads, it's very different. Is you invest and it's kind of a instant gratification, but then as soon as you stop, that arm disappears. Literally, there is no authority, there is no branding, there is nothing. It just disappears completely. Now,
and when you say
exactly,
literally, I mean, it's like it is immediate, folks.
Yeah, it's immediate. So that's something to keep in mind.
Way to get eyeballs, but it's also you start down that path, you better be ready to commit for a good amount of time, because everything that you gain by doing it goes away the second you stop.
Absolutely. So that's when you got to look at your budget, right? Your marketing budget, your marketing dollars, and make sure you're distributing those marketing dollars in the correct areas that make sense for your business at that time, right? So one of the things that I want to add to this that's very important is we talk about an octopus. I think this is a great analogy, because if you're building an octopus, right? We're building this and you're building arms on this octopus. I'll throw this kind of twist to it. Why would you build an arm for a turtle on this octopus? What do I mean by that, right? Why would you build an arm onto this octopus, like a turtle arm, right? On this octopus when it's an octopus, right? Why are you doing this? What I mean by that is, why would you build an arm that has nothing to do with the offer or the business? Something that has nothing to do with what your business is or the offer that we're offering in the main center. I can even go even smaller than that and just say, why are you talking about anything that doesn't have to do with the offer, right? Just as simple as that. If our main goal is to drive attention and drive leads to this offer, then why would we be building arms that talk about something else? We need to focus and build these octopus arms, right? Boom, not a turtle arm. So if I build an arm here that starts talking about, vacations to Hawaii, when in reality, I want to talk about, shoes for hiking. That's what I mean by building something that doesn't make sense. An arm to this little octopus that makes no sense, right? So I'll pass it back to Shawn.
Put our octopus in a turtle shell.
Yeah, exactly. you don't want something that's been too close to the power plant.
We don't want an octopus with a shark fin coming out of its head.
Exactly. But yeah, so you want to stay consistent. Set a trend, set kind of like what exactly you're talking about, and just make sure everything's related. So that when you build your arms, and all these basically are lead generation paths, right? That you're taking your users, your traffic, your customers through a journey. So if you start giving them other information that has nothing to do with this journey, this octopus, then people start getting confused and they leave. And what you're doing a lot of times, you're teeing up your competition, because you might have given some valuable information, but since there was nowhere for them to go back to the offer, they went somewhere else and probably purchased a product or got that service. So you got to be careful that you keep the theme within what you're talking about.
So true. So true. We hear that one so many times from prospects and different clients and whatnot. Oh, I got this other thing over here and I want to add that in. And I love that analogy. It's you just put a turtle arm as a tentacle and it's over here like this. Kind of a T-Rex arm, so to say, on there. So anything we want to sign off with or kind of wrap up with? I think we kind of nailed this one down. And I know there's been some other comments that have been made from our own clients after this discussion Monday night, to me and in our different private Facebook groups and whatnot, that this really helped kind of bring it all home. But the key thing that I would say to take away, folks, from this episode is really think about it. Like truly look at your business and say, what is at the center of my business? What is my core offer, my core product or service? And then every arm that's coming off of that should do nothing more than enhance it, right? It just enhances the message around it. It educates around it. It provides value to it. It attracts people into it. And the more of that you have going on, just imagine that ginormous octopus that's hanging out in Roger's backyard in Guam, and it just swooped your next client, your next prospect, your next customer right off the shore banks of Iceland. That'd be pretty crazy.
I like it. No, I like it, man. I'm glad we got close to sea creature. I love sea creatures, so I love diving. So this was a good one. My big tip, obviously, that's huge, right? Make sure everything kind of fits, this model, your offer. Be clear, but also don't build stuff, and it's your time. So don't build stuff on to your marketing, or in this case, your octopus. Don't build an arm. That makes no sense. That's going to take you not only you and waste your time, but your clients, right? It's going to take them in another direction. So just stay real close, real clear, guys, with your message. And I think you guys will find a lot of success doing that.
Absolutely. If you guys have any type of discussion topics, anything that you want us to talk deeper about on one of these weekly episodes, do us a favor, send them over. You can message myself, message Roger, message Top Results Consulting, anywhere on social platforms. Heck, even just go to our website, topresultsconsulting.com. And in the little live chat that pops up in there, you can send it in there. Make it pretty simple and easy. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what topics you want more information about. I asked our clients this actually earlier, and they were joking around, kind of saying, well, we don't know what we don't know. So just keep telling us the things that we don't know. And I get that to a certain level, right? There's some things that bring and shed light on that. However, I'm sure there's some things out there that you guys are seeing and you're not quite sure why is that type of business doing that approach. Or maybe there's something that you're just trying to figure out. How is it that they're doing what they're doing? What's the purpose behind what they're doing? Feel free to throw those things in. That's stuff that Roger and I can absolutely, anything that kind of revolves around the marketing of a business in the digital world, we could help you guys kind of figure that piece out, get a little bit more of that knowledge down to you. That's the point of the Web Buzz podcast. Bring you all the latest things when we notice them and things are changing, but more importantly, to just help bring more clarity to what's going on in the world of digital marketing. Because I hate to say it, if you haven't embraced it yet, you're kind of back to the caveman days here. Digital marketing is the trend. It's where things are going, and it's not going to shift back away from it. I don't think we're going to ever see the days of the traditional kind of grassroots style marketing being the forefront. Digital, electronic, right? Virtual. This is all things that are just naturally happening, and COVID enhanced that a little bit, maybe sped it up a little faster than others wanted to do. But it's here, and we just have to embrace that and go with it. So anything you want to add there, my man?
We are addicted. We are addicted to digital. It's not going anywhere. As a society, we are addicted. If you don't believe me, drive around, look at a bus stop, and everybody will be doing this.
Heck, don't even look at the bus stop. Just look at the car next to you. While
like anywhere. That's just the reality.
Yeah, stop texting and driving kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for those that joined us live. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you guys want to join in live, every single Wednesday around 4 p.m. Pacific time, we go live on these. Of course, they're recorded, posted out there all over the place, different podcast episodes. If you're listening to it out there on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, any of those, give us a little rate and a review. Helps us out a little bit on that front, but it also just lets us know that you're getting value out of it. And that's what Roger and I care about the most. You're watching it on YouTube, make sure you hit that little subscribe button, give us a little thumbs up, throw a comment down there or something. Let us know what you guys take away from these. Again, Roger and I pay attention to that stuff. Our team's always paying attention to it. So if you put something in there, we will definitely see it. And if it's a question, we'll do our best. We'll get back to you as fast as possible to help you out. So until next week, till another episode, as I say every single week, here's